Good morning, everybody. Main Marco here, and welcome back for some more gameplay. This time, we are playing Total War Warhammer 3. The newest DLC came out, Omens of Destruction, and I've been messing around with it, primarily Skull Taker. Really fun and cool campaign. I suck at this game. As we all know, I suck at most games. So, I haven't probably been as efficient as I could, but it's been a lot of fun. I really like Korn's aesthetic of just beat the enemy till they're dead and don't stop beating them. So yeah, but we're not going into that. I just thought, this is a cool and fun game, why not play? That being said, just to check quick, what mods do I have for this game? I don't have anything game-breaking. The mods I have are just a couple simple ones. One of them is just a unique currency mod. Another is, I think I have the improved building faction taking mod, which is when you take a building, it just adds some custom art for the different things like sacking, raising, occupying, etc. If I have anything game breaking, I'll probably just re-record whatever I do today. Just be like, yeah, never mind. But today we're going to be doing some Immortal Empires.
Summon the Elector counts.
Now the question is who to play as. Like I said, I've been messing around with Skull Taker. He's really cool. His whole mechanic with the skull cape makes him so broken. It's awesome. But rather than playing Korn today, I figure we can do something fun. We could try the newest guy, Gorbad Ironclaw. He has some really cool abilities with his stuff. But if I'm going to be playing this, I want to look semi-confident. Continent. I want to look like a continent, guys. Come on. I want to be semi-competent. So, no, not random. So I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to play as the Empire. The question is, do we go classic and go Karl Franz, or do we switch it up and go Von Draken? I like Von Draken a lot. Death of Magic, really powerful. I really like playing with gunnery units. They're really cool. And she has bonus research rate. Of course, the Emperor has some access to some really cool, fun abilities. So I think we're going to go with Karl Franz today just to keep it pretty normal. Also, for anyone new to this game because of the most recent updates, ignore this recommended first campaign. Back in the early days of Warhammer, like Warhammer 1 and 2, and maybe even the launch of Warhammer 3, yeah, Karl was a very good starter campaign. You were in a good position. You could easily secure your province in about 3 or 4 turns, and you're all set. In more recent Warhammer, though, I don't think that stacks up as much. You have so many things there. The Beastmen. You have what's his name? He's the Warriors of Chaos. You have this fat bastard, Festus the Leech Lord. Great character, by the way. Fun to play as, just because his some of his abilities are really fun. But oh my god, him there being obnoxious. Of course, you have, what is it, from the Greenskins. You got Grom the Paunch, also one of the best characters. All the orcs are the best. You can't change my mind. But Grom just coming out of nowhere, killing Bretonia and rising in. And you also got Be'lakor on an island to the north that'll come down eventually, as well as some Norska raiders. But we're not here for that. I'm not here for a critique. In my opinion, Karl Franz is one of the most fun. He's a simple beat-em-up lord. He has a lot of things related to holding the line with his perk tree. So yeah, as always, I'm not good at this game. I love it. I have almost probably 500-600 hours into the series across all 3 games. But personally, I've never just been good with it. I get overwhelmed very easily when it comes to paying attention to stuff, but I still love Total War games. I started with Rome Total War way back from my school's Scholastic Book Fair. If you remember those, you're old like me. And from there, I played Rome Total War, Medieval 2 Total War, Napoleonic, and then eventually Total War Shogun 2. Probably was my favorite until this game. I got used to it. So yeah. In terms of settings, we're just going to keep it on normal. Endgame Crisis, I like to up it by about 30 turns for the max range and 20 for the lesser. In terms of what we want to do, as we're playing the Empire, I think we're going to disable the Grudge Too Far. I think we'll disable the Wild... I think we'll leave the rest on, and we'll do Ultimate Crisis mode. The crises aren't as cool as they used to be. If you want, actually, this is a side note. If you really want a really good analysis on the crises and like a pretty good opinion piece, I recommend checking out Legend of Total War's video on it. First of all, he's a great content maker. Go check him out. I love the guy. But he kind of goes over it. There aren't really great rewards for these in the battles once they start. You're usually in a pretty good spot, but neither here nor there. We'll keep it on normal for simplicities. AI stat mod, I like to up it a little bit, not too crazy. Unlimited battle time, little frequency, incremental autosaves. I'm going to try not to save scum, like a filthy casual, but who knows. But with that, I think we're ready to go. So yeah, I've always been a big fan of the Warhammer series, specifically 40k. I always knew about it and kind of looked at it a little bit back in late college, back in 2018. But then in 2019, late 2019, early 2020, when the bad times happened, I really got into 40k. It's really cool, and I know a little bit about the fantasy stuff. I've read and listened to some audiobooks. I've read some books and listened to audiobooks for some of the novels, such as about Cortex and Felix. Really cool characters. But yeah, Age of Sigmar is a really cool and interesting setting. If you've never looked into it or 40k, I recommend it. If you like more sci-fi, check out 40k. It's grimdark, it's depressing, everyone hates themselves, and it's great. Sigmar, definitely more high fantasy, vampires, ratmen, etc. They're both really cool settings. There's actually a lore bit that's really funny. In Warhammer 40k, there's allegedly a section of space that's cut off by the warp where the entirety of the Sigmar universe takes place. And then it's said in the Age of Sigmar universe, up in a wizard's tower, there's a snow globe that within it is the entire galaxy that 40k takes place in. So I kind of like that idea. They both exist within themselves at the same time. I don't believe these are canon. This is just stuff I've read online, probably just like fun, homebrewed ideas. But I like to imagine it. I love the idea that in a tower, freaking one of the wizard towers, probably, I forgot that guy's name, but up there. But yeah, let's get into it.
Now is the time, men of the Empire, to unite!
Hell yeah, Franz. So, path to victory, Emperor Karl Franz must protect the Empire at all costs by expanding its authority and bring the entire nation under his banner, either by pandering to the Elector counts or through his military might. To help defeat both foreign and domestic enemies of the Empire, Karl Franz may use the electoral machinations to perform special power with his own faction in the Elector states while manipulating diplomatic relations. Once the Empire is united, its enemies are crushed, campaign victory will be achieved. And this is a cool thing, if you click on stuff, you can get some really fun little bit of lore bits about it, and also there's lots of hoverovers you can see that tell you about stuff. Like in here, you have your Imperial Authority, you have the Elector counts, and this right here, the electoral machinations, but we'll worry about that later. And of course, if you've never played a Total War game before, when you play them, you'll usually be given missions to follow. Obviously, your main mission, you'll have a main victory condition, which is usually control everything or achieve something specific. Like in the older ones, it was just defeat a couple of these factions and own a specific province. And then as it went on, it became more objective based, like in Total War Shogun 2. Oh yeah, own the capital and half of Japan, depending on what difficulty you're playing on. In Age of Sigmar, we'll show in a minute, but in the game, you'll get specific mini-missions. In this case, defeat an army belonging to the following in battle, Empire Successionists. And in the event, let's say I had this objective, but somehow this army got wiped out, then this objective, I wouldn't fail it, but it would just be abandoned. There's no penalty for a quest being abandoned, usually, as far as I know. But yeah, let's look into it. So we actually have our victory conditions here, and there are three different types of victories. A short victory, which is you just have to destroy some factions, specifically in this case the Empire Successionists, which are these guys, the Barrow Legion, which is this jerk up here, and Sylvania, also known as literally the biggest pain in the tuchus in the whole game, early game, because he will just, by about turn 11 or 12, he'll probably be up to here, but we'll see. Then you have long victories. This is the one where you actually get an achievement. It is considered the proper win, which is owning a bunch of settlements, which in the Empire, as there are 100 imperial provinces, this is just direct ownership. And this, control all provinces of the Empire by direct ownership or through vassals and military allies. Not too hard. Actually, it's kind of, but we'll get there. And then the the domination victory, which is to occupy, loot, raise, or sack 272 different settlements. It's all of them. It's really wild. It's literally all of them. So, and that's once you get steamrolling, like this map is freaking huge, man. Literally all of this, and some territories you can't habit well, which we'll get to later, but it's a lot. So if you've never played one of these games, it's a mixture of researching technology, managing your empire, and doing micromanagement of battlefields. So to start off, we'll look at some research, and I always like to get the grain silos at first. Replenishment is king, and growth is important. And we're immediately going to start upgrading the capital, and we're just going to go straight into our first battle. Now, after an update, I found the game could be a little unstable, so I highly recommend quick saving when you can. You can obviously drop full-on saves, but I like to quick save, and let's get into a battle. Now, if you've ever been into a Total War battle, what you can do is this is the little deployment map, and it'll tell you what kind of victory you'll get, and if you'll take casualties. Now, if I auto-resolve this one, I want to take a good bit of casualties probably, and I normally prefer to fight smaller battles in person. As the game goes on, there'll be some fights that are just not worth fighting, or you're like, I cannot win this fight, but it's letting me win through auto-resolve with heavy losses. It's worth it. So yeah, you can also retreat. If I didn't think I could win this fight, I could retreat, but we're going to fight this one. But first, let's see what the terrain looks like. Ooh, we have a hill on our side, and we have a mortar, which they're not great, but they're good enough for just hitting. We'll probably have it focus on the crossbowmen, so we don't have to worry about that. But this looks pretty solid. We can probably set the artillery there, have our shields and halberd move up here. Great swords can flank around. Karl will charge the first enemy to get some experience and kills. And yeah, let's fight it. Man, I've been talking a lot, and we're only 12 minutes in. I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrated that. I know I've said that a lot, but hey, Christmas is right around the corner. That's pretty awesome. I'm just going to be spending it with my family again. I'm getting a gift ready for the missus I'm going to be sending up, which is going to be some ramen and a couple other things. She loves her ramen. Woman after my own heart. Sorry, need a sip of water there. But yeah. So this is the actual battle deployment map. Now, as you can see, with a setup like this, the whole point is where we had turn-based. Now we actually have a whole thing where we're managing small units. And let's look at the units we have. So we have a mortar, like I said. The mortar is a type of artillery in this case. Artillery's whole purpose is to either deal with enemies like infantry or larger units. And you can actually see this one has a bonus called anti-infantry, which means it has advantage on targets smaller than horses and deals more damage to them. So against basic infantry like this, really good. Not good against individual units or heroes or leaders like this guy, but really good against actual units of men. Then you have infantry. In this case, we have swordsmen and halberds. Swordsmen are what they sound like. They have shields. Their whole point is to stand in the front and block enemy advancement. That's kind of their shtick. We have a greatsword. They're a damage dealer. Their whole thing is like that. And we have cavalry. Cavalry is a cool little thing where it's guys on horses. And these are Reichsguard, which are one of the elite earlier infantry. All units have different tier levels, which we'll get to in a minute. Yeah, just to look at them, our swordsmen, they are sort of the weaker, smaller units of the game. These whole guys, they're tier 1 infantry. It goes up to tier 5, tier 5 being the super strong ones, allegedly. There's some tier 5 that are pretty mid. But these are the cheapest and easiest to recruit. You'll normally get them out of a level 1 barracks or from your basic settlements. Then you have stuff like level 2 infantry, like these halberdiers. Their whole purpose is they are a bit more advanced. They require maybe a bit more advanced structures to unlock. They're a little better in terms of stats in some areas, but obviously a swordsman and a spearman are going to have different roles. Like these guys are anti-large, so they're good against cavalry, monsters, etc. And they have what's called charge defense. There's a lot to explain in these games, and I know I normally spend a lot on that, but we'll get to the action in a minute. But yeah, we'll actually look at something that's more related to the swords, In this case, the Karabor Greatswords, which they're just greatswords. They're a unique faction unit that the Empire gets. And these guys are also swordsmen, but their whole thing is they are anti-infantry, and they have, they'll let me up. Magical Aura, which is, it supports nearby units, friends, or harms them, so this can range from morale buffs or other such. In this case, Bathed in Blood will specifically give allies within range a bonus to melee attack and leadership. But it has to be a majority of the unit, so as you can see, that unit is in it, but the other one isn't. If I put them here, though, I can get both of them. I found that you have to make sure you hit the flag bearer of a unit. That's usually the go-to. Like, if I just slide this over enough to remove him... See? Not in it, but then I bring it back over a little bit. Now in it. So, yeah. Also, probably cut out a lot of the loading and stuff by pausing the recording and editing it out. But, there we go. I got distracted again. But yeah, so as you can see, the different tier of infantry do different stuff. Great swords are okay. They're not the best. They're not meant to be... I find that moving them around an enemy and hitting an enemy from the side is pretty good with them. But yeah. Finally, we have our handgunners. Missile units in this game used to be some of the best stuff in the world in older editions. It's still good, but it's definitely fallen more to the melee side of things. I think they've gotten a heavy buff in this most recent game, but I'll tell you this, handgunners and archer units and any range units are still king in my opinion, because they can do massive damage before the enemy even reaches you. Finally, let's look at our boy, Karl Franz. Oh, look at this handsome boy with his helmet. Now, he is a lord. Lords are the ones who lead your army. Unless you have a lord in your army, you can't actually make an army and move it around. You can switch out lords sometimes, but otherwise they need to be there. Now, he is obviously specifically designed as a leader, but he has a lot of buffs that are centered around improving your unit. So, for example, melee attack and leadership for all units within range is really good, including himself. But he is also, as you can see by his traits here, he is a duelist, meaning he's really good at fighting enemy lords and heroes. I'm probably going to have him charge into an enemy melee unit right off the bat, just to focus on getting him some kills and leveling him up, because the quicker we can get him onto his mount, which is a literal giant griffin, the better. So we're going to put him as close to the front as we can. Leaders are also good because they will raise the morale of your units, so the more if you keep your leader around them, it helps with their morale, and losing your leader has major penalties to unit morale, which is called leadership. If a unit's leadership gets too low, they will shatter, and it'll be essentially lost. So, something important to keep in mind. But with that, let's begin our little battle. So we're going to have the mortar immediately start hitting the archers here, or crossbowmen. We're going to see if they actually do anything here. Alright, it did a little damage. It got no kills yet. Mortars aren't the most accurate thing in the world. We'll probably send the cavalry around to hit the archers when we get a chance. Bring the handgunners up a little bit to engage sooner. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to immediately start pegging the... Ooh! Oh, now that was a good hit. Did some good damage. We're going to immediately start engaging that swordsman unit. We're just going to start laying into them. I'm going to have Karl's charge this swordsman unit. And we're going to actually have these guys move over here. I think this will get off one up more shot into the archer unit. And they're not moving, so hopefully these will hit better. Not bad. Now that that's done, we're going to stop the shots firing. We're going to actually have it target here. And we're going to just have Karl just kind of charge into the enemy here. And now these guys are actually going to start landing shots into them. I'm going to pull Karl back. And now our troops are engaging them. So we'll rear charge them. And have our greatswords recharge them. And we're going to pop this ability to give our halberdiers extra melee attack as well as these guys. Our Reichsguard have charged into the archers and are hopefully going to break their leadership. We're actually going to have these guys come back and charge them again. our... Actually, have him there, have him there. And now begins the fun part where we just bash into the enemy over and over. We're going to have our mortars target them. We're going to have our cavalry charge back in there. Our swordsmen are going to start carving into them while giving those guys a bonus. And now I want to have Karl come over here and help fight that lord. I'm going to have these guys fall over here. And these gunmen are going to try to shoot the enemy lord to deal him some extra damage. You fire there. Oh yeah. With that broken, we'll charge over here. And as you can see, the enemy lord is broken and now running away. So we're just going to have both our gunners finish him off. Charge there. And we're just going to start systematically ending them. Let's see, they have a speed of 29, we have a speed of 31. So hypothetically, we can make it. Oh, also, as you can see, my Franz, for example, his stats have a bit of red while others have green. Green are bonuses to stats, red are negatives, and as units get tired while fighting, they will lose certain stats. And now it'll show you. It used to not, so that's really cool. Yeah, it's just a little helpful to know when and how the stats are impacted. And let's look at some of the kills. Franz got 37. That's pretty good. So, Franz, you did good. You can just stop. These guys got 11, 22, 37. Nice. 23 from them. 47, or 49 and 57. These guys got 116, although they're running the enemy down, so that's not unusual. We're just going to have these guys run down over here. Oh, we're going to tell our mortars to hopefully stop firing so they don't kill half of our units. And we will, once we decimate most of that unit, I think we'll end the battle. Beautiful. So yeah, the reason you want to fight battles sometimes is there will be times where the game goes, yeah, you're going to lose this fight. And you kind of go, am I? Am I really? That doesn't feel right. So it's worth fighting them when you can because you'll get a lot more victory out of it. After the fight, there'll be this after battle screen, which will tell you how many men you lost and how many enemies they lost, or how many losses the enemy had. And it says we lost 24, so let's see, 13, 15, 22. So 2 units on our side died from friendly fire, probably because of the mortar. Maybe a gunner hit an ally in the back and that killed someone. There is potential friendly fire with units. But with that, after every fight, depending on your faction, you will get different bonuses that you can do. So in this case, first of all, it tells you rewards you get. We got prestige, which is an Empire unique mechanic. We have money, and we have experience for our leader. That's the important thing. As your leaders level up, you'll get bonuses. So we got, everyone gets an extra 100 experience, which is okay. We have army replenishment for taking on captives. That's pretty good. And then we got pardon captives for money. We're going to take the regen, just because that'll be helpful. Very nice. So that's what we got. Free thing. We got Biting Blade, which gives us an extra armor-piercing damage, and Captured Grunsburg. Cool. So with that, we're going to level up Karl. Now this is the level up screen, and I'm sure it looks like a lot, but it's not too bad. There's usually there's 3 base lines for every hero in the game. You have a blue line, which is related to army buffs, or your army non-combat related buffs and empire related buffs. So for example, campaign range movement, control over cities, reduced attrition, reducing corruption, which is a whole separate mechanic, upkeep costs, healing your army, the ability to ambush enemy armies quickly, and a cool unique one at the end, which is pretty much the same for everyone, but it just gives some bonus of some kind. The red line. For the red line, that is predominantly related to your units. So, for example, this one improves a lot of the core infantry, so the swordsmen and spearmen. You have the pistol corps, which relates to missile units. You have Mighty Forge, which is a lot of the cool stuff, like the funniest unit in the game, the land ship. You cannot change my mind. And then there's special advanced versions for when they hit certain ranks, which give them more bonuses. Then you have the combat line. Depending on the hero, you may or may not touch this line. Karl Franz being a melee hero, we're probably going to dip into that a good bit, because Karl Franz, when he gets upgraded, especially when he gets his unique mount, Death Claw, oh, let me tell you, this line, he will destroy the enemy. And you have simple stuff like how hard melee defense, which is makes you harder to hit, charge bonus, which adds a bonus to the amount of damage you do, armor, how well you resist attacks that aren't armor piercing, health, it's health, melee attack, your odds of hitting, and then some bonus damage, it's damage, more health, and then special abilities which make you deal extra base damage. Then, for Legendary Lords specifically, each Legendary Lord has a special Legendary Lord line that does different stuff. In this case, for Karl Franz, you have the Emperor one, so you have Best of the Empire. This makes it where you have improved recruit rank and experience gain, and when you recruit a Lord for a new army, they get bonus levels. And then there's different ones for different units. You have one for Reichsguard and Greatswords. You have a bonus for leadership and missile strength for certain troops and armor. You have upkeep reduction for knight units. Majestic Enforcer, which is just you just get bonuses for the province you're in, which Karl Franz I usually have always out, so I'll grab that one. It's good for when you take a settlement and you want to upgrade it while you're hanging out there. Then Emperor's Journey, which is just perfect vigor. You never get tired, you can never break. Karl Franz will die before breaking, and he has bonus strength for his weapon. All units get some kind of mount in the game. You don't need them on mount. Some mounts are better than others. Deathclaw is one of the better ones. And, yeah, then you have some general ones. Hold the Line's a cool one, because this is a passive ability that just gives units within range without hitting anything a bonus to defense and leadership. But for now, I like to get Route Marcher, the bonus campaign range movement. Campaign range movement matters a lot. Other than that, we then have the details page, which is a page where you can equip magic items you find and ancillaries, which are special banners or bonuses that you can grant an army. They can include upkeep reductions for specific unit types, bonuses to control, special banners you can give units, and yeah. Then finally, your quests. Each character has one or more quest items they want to go for. In our case, we have 3. We have Beast Slayer, which is quest battle level 7, Gal Moraz at rank 12, and the Silver Seal at rank 20. And I'm not going to go into all these until it matters, but there's lots of stats in this game. There are people who can explain it better. I know I've been kind of doing it, but I recommend looking at people like Legend of Total War who have explained some of this stuff before. But I think that's good for now. Let's go on Grumberg, and that's probably where we'll call it a part. Grumberg has an okay defense. So let's head in. We'll look at the map. Beautiful. And it's almost identical. This game is better, but a lot of the maps are the same. But yeah, I'll load in, get my army organized, and then we'll start the battle. We are back. I set up quick. Quick thing before we start. As you saw, there was no lord. This is what's called a garrison defense for the city, and all cities have a garrison defense by default if it's once you build it. In this case, if there's not a hero there that's the leader, it'll always pick a random unit to be a leader, and in this case, it is picked this one, led by Gunter von Altdorf. Cool name. It's just a basic spear infantry unit, nothing fancy. I think we kind of lucked out because of that, because if it was a shield unit, it could block. Even though we have armor-piercing units with our gunners, I find these guys are a bit better at just holding than these ones. But who knows? In terms of our setup, we found this really nice lucky setup where we have a little blockade here, so they'd have to go all the way around here, which the AI might with a spearman, but if it does, I'll just send the swordsman over. And we have our guys here, Karl, and we will have our Reichsguard who are hiding here probably charge the enemy crossbowmen when they are in range. But for now, let's begin the battle, and we're going to immediately start peppering their leader. We'll speed it up a little bit. We'll get off one more shot. Ooh, nice. Now we're going to switch over to the crossbowmen. And I'm guessing they're going to start shooting at Karl? Yes. So missile units love to go for your leader, so I'm just going to have Karl run back and forth as the crossbowmen aim at him. I have our gunners open fire, if we can, hit that guy. because that's their leader. And if the general cracks, that'll be good. Now we're going to have the mortars fly in there. And now we're going to move back a little bit, and we're going to charge that group of men right there. And as we do, we're just going to pop this to help ourselves. We're then going to stop the mortar from firing and recharge it over here as our Reichsguard charge these guys from behind. We'll have our swordsmen go there. And yeah, once these, now that they're broken, we're going to rear charge these guys to get them to break. Actually, we'll recharge the spearmen here. That's probably better. We are charging uphill, which has negative bits, but that's okay. At this point, we're going to have these units hold, and our gunmen can't really make any more shots because they might hit allies. Let's see, we're going to hit these guys from behind, and that'll have a huge negative modifier on morale. Actually, gunmen, if you can try to move up and hit them. Bring these guys around. Beautiful. Take them out again. And we'll have these guys come around and help out. These guys move down here. And once they're kind of down here, which they are winded, so their stats are lower. Oh, no, keep going, you can do it. Sometimes the AI does get a little stuck. Oh, charge them. And just keep hitting them. Actually, you guys fall back a bit. And now these guys can run in here. So yeah, I'm probably not the best handle of this fight. Like I said, I'm mainly just doing this to get kills on Karl's because it helps him level up. With that, we're gonna just keep cycle charging these spearmen until they break, and once they break, that's basically the fight. There we go. Now we just kind of shuff them up a bit.
Let's go. Very well. By Ulrich's wrath.
You can take another shot at those guys, I suppose. You fire at them there. You fire at them there. Just destroy those guys.
No lingering. And gunners! Moving!
Have these guys run up. And see if they get some shots on them as they run. And now just go that way, boys, and have the Reichsguard chase those guys down. All we're doing now is we're just getting kills to raise our unit ranks. That's pretty much all. There's no need to finish it up. We lost a good bit of men here, but we lost one Reichsguard guy, we lost some basic infantry, and Karl took a lot of damage, but that's okay. Again, a decisive victory, and 59 losses, 13, 34, 58. Yeah, one guy was killed with friendly fire, and that's the rest. 145 on the Reichsguard, 89 on Karl. That's my boy. And these guys holding the line very well. Excuse me. And with that, that will be a pretty swift and easy victory, I think. And we got 1200 XP. That's nice. A range standard. 6 extra speed, strider, speed and combat penalties caused by trains ignored. That'll be really good on our Reichsguard. Got a little loot. Now, this is what I was talking about, the occupying screen. So, when you capture a settlement, you're usually given a few options. Depending on who you play as, you're given more or less. But in our case, as the Empire, we can occupy it. We can loot and occupy it, which will give us some extra benefits. Sack it, which will just give us money, or we destroy it. Raising you want to avoid unless it's in a territory that you don't need. Usually you'll want to sack it, wait a turn, then raise it. But that makes you so you can't move, so maybe not. Now, depending, when you take locations, you will get negative modifiers to the order and control of the province. In this case, if we occupy it, we will immediately lose 10 control over the province, but then we'll have an additional -3 per turn, where it'll take down 1 less every turn. Now, we are injured, so it might be worth it to loot and occupy, where we get a little money, but it's not worth it. Looting and occupying causes more instability, but you get a little money, and you get some unit replenishment. But we're just going to occupy it. Sacking gets you money and less control, or gets you more money, and raising it gets you a little money, and the province is destroyed. Now we have to capture 2 more provinces. But first, we're going to level up Karl, and we're going to grab Hold the Line, I think. There's just a cool ability where allies within range get extra melee defense, so we can actually, there's a good strategy of just having Karl walk back and forth behind your men, moving him into groups where they need the help. And I think we're going to go with, yeah, we'll go with Hold the Line. I like Hold the Line. It's a pretty good early game. Or, you know what? No, we're going to get Inspiring Presence, I think, just to get the extra leadership going on our troops. Now, with that, I think this is where I'm going to call it for now. When I come back, I'll explain some of the other stuff. We're already almost at 40 minutes, and I don't want to make you guys slog through too much. So we'll stop there, and next time, I'll go over some more mechanics, and we'll kind of begin our end turn processes, because we're pretty much at the end turn point. But yeah, with that, have a great day, guys. I hope you like the new series. I've been waiting to do something longer, and I think this will be good. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.